towards, that's getting up towards the 90s in Fahrenheit, and it's only going to get hotter. We've had wonderful weather throughout the 10 days of the Australian Open so far, and indeed throughout the Australian summer of tennis that began 3.5 weeks ago with the lead-in events here in Melbourne, the Somerset, the ATP Cup, and also events in Sydney. We had WTA 500, ATP 250 tournaments down in Adelaide, and it's all been leading towards this, the second week of the Australian Open. An Australian cap on there because today, the 26th of January, is Australia Day here down under. So a happy Australia Day to everybody who celebrates it. And also, this is a good moment to point out the fact that Melbourne Park is located on what is traditionally Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung country, and acknowledge the elders of that country and countries all around Australia, past, present and emerging. Melbourne Park getting bigger. We now have 6 show courts. We've got the Kia Arena that has certainly been in the news the last 24 hours or so. Kyrgios and Kokkinakis on there, turning up the heat as if it wasn't hot enough already, whipping up the crowd into a frenzy, making it through to the doubles semi-finals on the Kia Arena, the brand new show court that we have down here. 6 show courts now. Focus obviously though on Rod Laver Arena, with Margaret Court alongside it. Kia Arena, John Cain Arena, named after the former Victorian Premier, the head of the state that Melbourne is in. And then 1573 and court number 3, 6 show courts around here. My name's Drew Lilly, and alongside me to analyse this women's quarter-final, we have somebody who, during her on-court career, played Alizé Cornet. I've got Jill Krabus alongside me.
How are you, Drew? It's great to be with you this morning.
Likewise. What can we expect from Alizé? It's a while since you played with her.
Oh, it has been a while, yes. Thank you for that reminder. But I think we all know, I think we've seen it actually throughout this tournament already, how well she competes. They both compete extremely well. Danielle Collins also. This is going to be a super competitive match. Alizé Cornet, to me in particular, since you began with her, very difficult to play. I think one of the main reasons for me in particular was she has that really flat backhand. That's one of her best shots, but a high heavy spin forehand. So that contrast can sometimes be challenging because it disrupts the rhythm for the opponent, and just you get the different looks and the different spins. So that can sometimes be tough to play against. But I mean, the way both of these women in particular have handled their matches, they've just competed so well, fought so hard. They specifically said that about each other in their press conferences yesterday, of how much they admire the intensity that the other one brings and the competitiveness the other one brings. So huge admiration and respect for each other. So this is going to be a really, really tough competitive match. I think the conditions too, they both played in really hot conditions a couple days ago. It's a little bit hotter today. So they know how to take on those challenges and how to adapt.
It will indeed be hot conditions. The roof's open on Rod Laver Arena, but the court is already bathed in sunlight as we look at the floodlights from the MCG. I'm high on the hill looking over the bridge at the MCG as Paul Kelly, the legendary Australian musician, sang. There's the floodlights from the Melbourne Cricket Ground, all part of the Melbourne Park complex where they play cricket and Australian rules football. Australian rules football being the nearest we can get to the NFL. Jill and I have been teasing one another. My Buffalo Bills knocking out her New England Patriots, and then getting
Thanks for the reminder.
And then getting
Still
their
hurts.
And then getting their comeuppance against your second favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yes, yes. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
You got through one, but
exactly.
We each got one. Let's put it that way.
We did, yes. Sport was the winner at the end of the day. Go Cornet, go. How about that in the crowd. Look at that. All looking a little bit nervous there. I love the fact that there is a little homemade banner for Alizé Cornet. I'm sure she wouldn't have been expecting a couple of weeks ago. Well, Cornet struggled with the lead-in events that we mentioned earlier. She played here in Melbourne, got knocked out in the first round, went down to Adelaide, got knocked out in the first round there, and all of a sudden has made her way through. And there she is in the foreground, made her way through to her first ever Grand Slam quarter-final. At the age of 32, she turned 32 4 days ago. So happy birthday, Alizé. Joyeux anniversaire. And there certainly has been a great birthday present for her. 63rd main draw at this level, and the record for the most appearances before finally getting through to a Grand Slam quarter-final used to be held by somebody else you may have played, Tamarine Tanasugan.
Oh yes, Tammy.
There we go, yes. It took her 45 goes to reach a quarter-final, and then did so at Wimbledon in 2008. The Walk of Champions, Amélie Mauresmo, that is somebody, a French woman that Alizé Cornet will be hoping to emulate, and there'll be another French name along there coming up very soon. Well, it isn't actually a French name, but it's the name of a French player. Here it comes after Monica Seles. Marie Pierce, a French woman who won it in 1995. And here come the players now down the legendary Walk of Champions.
Playing for a place in the Australian Open semi-finals. Let's welcome to court, first of all, from France, Alizé Cornet. And her opponent, would you please welcome from the United States, Danielle Collins.
Alizé Cornet looking, I would say, the calmer of the two ladies as they walked down. They went down the Walk of Champions. Quarterfinals, so they are only 6 sets away from joining those legends in the Walk of Champions. Hot day, 29 degrees, that's 84 Fahrenheit if you're looking at it in pounds, shillings and pence. Sunny, very little wind. It's only 11 o'clock local time, or just gone. So the sun will be beating down, and it may affect the players from the southern end. We've seen the sun has affected a few players on the ball toss. And we will see that a little bit later on. But first of all, we're going to have the toss of the coin.
Let's welcome ANZ Tennis Hotshots player from Deer Park Tennis Club, 10 years of age, Musima Selic, who's going to toss the coin today. Let's give her a big round of applause.
She's going to do the coin toss. So after the coin toss, if we could just face that way to do a photo. So ladies, same conditions in your previous matches. If I can just ask you, Danielle, if you're going to use the towel box, use blue. Alizé, reds, please. Clock will be shown in the corners as normal. Just remind you, I believe you've been told that because of Australia, there might be some noise around about 12 o'clock, so just be aware of that. Do you have any questions, ladies? No? ANZ or Margaret mostly? ANZ, please. Oh, good job. We're going to have to do it again. Try again. No, that's fine. Try again. ANZ, yes? Perfect. Margaret Molesworth, Danielle.
Okay, I'll serve first.
You'll serve? Okay, can we just have a photo facing that way? Perfect. Thank you, ladies.
Well, this match is likely
Thank you.
going to be on the
Danielle,
knife
yes.
edge, and how about that? Even the coin toss, the coin landed on its side. The coin there.
on the court. This was always a dream of hers to be able to make her first quarterfinal, and now it's here. And the reason is because of her competitiveness, her fire, that she brings the passion on the court. And I think just the fact that she says she's having a lot more fun out there, enjoying it.
She's on another streak we mentioned earlier. It took her 63 goes to make the quarterfinal of the Slam. She's currently on her 60th. This is her 60th consecutive major of the 63 overall. It's the third longest streak in history, behind Ai Sugiyama on 62 and Francesca Schiavone on 61. So by the end of the year, she could well have overtaken them. Someone who's a little behind in terms of that kind of run is Danielle Collins. Big hitter, and she's going to be looking to hit Alizé off the court. It'll be a real opposition of styles between these two, and an exciting matchup. The big hitting of Danielle Collins against the flat hitting of Alizé Cornet. Collins, who has dropped a few sets on the way. She's had some tough matches as well. Starting off with Caroline Dollarhide, the qualifier in the first round, and then coming up against Anna Cornet. Clara Tauson of Denmark, an up-and-coming player that we're going to be seeing a heck of a lot more of over the years. And then Elise Mertens, that was a long one, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, a long and exhausting match for Danielle Collins.
Yeah, I did the last couple match of Collins of both of those three setters, and they were just a battle. And just the last one that you mentioned against Elise Mertens, I mean, it was super hot that day, and both of them were struggling. Collins, to me, it's going to be interesting to see how she comes out and starts. She did mention that she was struggling a little bit. We saw her hold her lower back during that match, and she said afterward that she had to adjust her technique a little bit, especially on the serve. That's where she was feeling it the most. Obviously ended up finishing that match very strong. It didn't seem to bother her at all off the ground. So we'll see how if that still affects her serve slightly today or not.
These two have been on the tour for almost 3 decades between them, and they are yet to meet. First ever matchup between these two players, despite the fact that Alizé Cornet's been on tour since 2005. Danielle Collins, she's 28 years old. That's just one of the quirks, really. All of a sudden you come up against a player you have never played before. Danielle didn't reach out to you for some tips on how to play Alizé?
No, I think she's okay. I think she's feeling pretty good about herself.
Can you remember where it was where you played Alizé?
No, I can't remember the exact place, but I'm pretty sure it was on clay, which she would definitely have the advantage on me in that one.
2008, she made the final in Rome. That was her big breakthrough tournament. She's very well on clay. Cornet, a French player, has a lot of clay, the red dirt, played on in France, and she made the final, losing to Jelena Jankovic. There's another blast from the past when she was just a young player, Cornet, and that really launched her onto the French tennis scene. And she's been there or thereabouts, or more thereabouts than there, for the best part of 15 years. She got as high as number 16 in 2008, number 11 in 2009.
Ready, play.
Danielle Collins to get us underway from the southern end.
I think they're just waiting for the screens in the back to turn black. There we go.